African Star and Liberia Public Radio bring you this news commentary on the breakdown of compliance with health and safety rules in Liberia, which have now led to a confirmed case of the coronavirus in the West African country. The drama surrounding the disclosure of the first confirmed case of the coronavirus known as COVID-19 in Liberia on Monday, March 16, 2020, was not a big surprise. The WEA administration's admission that an official of government, the executive director of the country's Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, had tested positive for the highly contagious COVID-19 virus raised the spectacle of the following critical concerns. 1. The lack of discipline and respect for health protocols in Liberia and in Africa. 2. The perpetuation of the big shot syndrome in Liberia and Africa, by which officials have their own set of rules. 3. The Liberian government's long-term dependence on foreign technical capacity and assistance in times of crises. 4. Centralization of material and resources in the capital, Monrovia. And 5. Lack of national leadership on the containment of the coronavirus in the country. African Star and Liberia Public Radio last week warned Africa about the urgency of instituting clear and effective prevention and containment measures. In Liberia, since March 13th, an unknown number of persons have been exposed to the individual who tested positive. If the allegations are true, then it was totally reckless for the individual who has been identified by the government as the confirmed COVID-19 case to have ignored compliance with health and safety guidelines at the airport. It is a well-known fact that public servants who occupy high office in Liberia and parts of Africa often flaunt public laws because they consider themselves better and privileged above ordinary citizens. Even after a positive test and medical evacuation from his home became necessary, the individual in question chose to write the protocol of how he wanted to be taken to the hospital, drive behind an ambulance. This is gross recklessness on the part of this public official, and he should know better. Additionally, there was no expectation that clear public health protocols will be implemented were a COVID-19 suspect identified for quarantine. Citizens who choose not to be quarantined can expect no repercussions because a weak national health system and political leadership are distracted, and national policies are party-driven rather than people-driven. The consequence is that the poor and vulnerable in Liberia will be hugely affected for some time. African Star and Liberia Public Radio are citing the Liberian health authorities and political leadership over incompetence and deteriorating governance. It is unacceptable that many citizens have now become exposed to the risk of contracting COVID-19. Citizens must peacefully register their outrage and reconsider support for the type of political leadership that continuously forgets who they work for, the people of Liberia. African Star and Liberia Public Radio offer the following recommendations. Identify and approve emergency budget. Designate appropriate quarantine areas across Liberia and inform citizens accordingly. create quarantine information exchange mechanism to facilitate communications between quarantined individuals and family members, and this must include feeding and medical care for quarantined individuals. Establish an emergency budget to fund disease surveillance, training, treatment, and post-treatment counseling. We call for an independent financial management team to handle the disbursement, distribution, procurement of material, and audit of resources allocated for the emergency program. That the Liberian government will undertake an aggressive public awareness campaign on the coronavirus, provide regular update on containment of the disease, and as part of our public service commitment, the African Star and Liberia Public Radio will make available their platforms to enhance public education and campaign so that together we defeat this pandemic. This news commentary is a collaboration between African Star and Liberia Public Radio.